Hey, this is Stephen Williams, founder and president of the CreditRepairShop.com. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about statute of limitations and what you could do if you get a debt from a debt collector or a letter from a debt collector, and uh, if you want to see if you legally have an obligation to pay it. They're going to make the letter, they're going to make it look like you have to pay it. They're going to make it look very official. They're going to, try to scare you. They're going to try to call you, try to get you emotional. But when you receive the debt collection letter, you should always do what I'm about to tell you to do right now. Is that you should check it against the statute of limitation laws in your state. It's different for all states. I don't know why it's not the same in every state, but every state has their own laws. And yes, it does pertain to even if a debt collector or even a collection from an original creditor, even if they live in another state, everything goes to where they did the business at, where you live at. So I'm gonna kind of go through some because I had a question here that about statute of limitations where someone said that it could vary. Some states is 10 to 15 years, and there's only one state where even if they don't get a judgment against you, they can actually still come after you for 15 years. Actually, two states. You have, well, no, check this out. This is crazy. For Kentucky, uh, oral, if you have an oral agreement with someone, it can last up to 15 years. If you have a written agreement, it can last only 5 years. And you have a promissory note, could be 15 years. And then an open end, that means that, both of you kind of had an agreement, but you didn't handshake on it, 5 years. Louisiana is 10 years, 10 years for written, 10 years for promissory, 3 years for open. Missouri is 10, 5, 10. 10 years on a oral agreement, 5 years on a written, 10 years on a promissory note. Montana, 8, 5, 8. And the rest are pretty low. The norm is usually 5 to 6 years. The shortest that I see here is Arizona on a written 3. They have a 6, 3, 5. When I say in the order, it's going to be oral contract, written contract, promissory note, and then an open. So we got 6, 3, 5, 3 for Arizona. For North Dakota, we have 3, 3, 5, 3. So the 5 years on the promissory note. Mississippi is 3, 3, 3, 3. So 3 years max across the board. And Ohio is 15, 6, 15, and 6. So 15 years on an oral agreement, 6 years on a written promissory note, 15, 6 years on an open end. And then Rhode Island, 15, 15, 10, and 10. That's the highest across the board. And then South Carolina is 10, 10, 3, 3. And then Wyoming is 10, 8, 10, 8. The rest are within 5 to 6 years, is what they're going to normally be. Now, when I get questions about the statute of limitations, is people are trying to figure out how does that work, because you have these different laws in different states, and if the collection is coming from another state into the state that I'm in, which one does it work in? And like I said earlier, it matters with the state that you're in. Now, there are some circumstances that can change that. If you moved from one state to another state, they may try to say that they want everything to be held in the state that they originally did business with you in, because if they take it over to the other state, there's going to be new laws. They have to have the contract initiated for the original debt in that state, so it could make problems. So what they usually do is they'll sue you in the original state that you were in, and then they'll get a judgment if they get one, or make you have to go back there to defend you, which is another problem all in itself, because if you're working in a whole nother state, you've moved and now you have to go back to represent yourself, that's going to be an additional cost to you. And then they'll get that judgment, and then what they'll do is they'll take it to the state that you live in, and they'll do what's called a foreign judgment. And that's where they just take one judgment, take it over to another state. They don't even have to go to court or do anything. It's just going to be like just handed over to the new state that you're in. The judges take them. They never really question them or anything. They just map it over, because they're going to say that the judge in the other state that gave the judgment did everything the right way, so there's no reason for them to question it. But now, if they have not went that far, now we're just talking about, you get a debt collection letter in the mail saying that you owe a debt. First thing you should do is look at your credit reports and scores. Look at your credit reports and scores. I'm used to saying scores, but really you're looking at your credit reports to look at the charge-off or write-off date on that specific debt that they're trying to collect from you. When you learn that date, then you need to make sure that it is not a judgment against you. So look at your paperwork, make sure that it's not a judgment. If they're just strictly coming after you for the debt, then that's where you want to do your homework and look at the statute of limitations on that debt, because that's step one. You can make the debt go away the easiest by doing it this way, by not just letting it go by and not responding. So you look at your credit reports and you check to see when the original write-off date was. If it falls within the statute of limitations for your state, you just have to simply write them a letter stating that according to the laws in your state, that this debt is past the statute of limitations for contract law, which would be written, or some might say promissory, but it's going to be written for contract law in your state, and that you wish for them, that you want them to cease and desist all collection activity, or you can say you demand that they cease and desist all collection activity pertaining to this debt, or you will report them to the proper authorities in your state. The proper authorities in your state is Department of Financial Institution and the State Attorney General's office. Look it up in your state to find out who handles the licensing or certifications for debt collection companies in your state. And then you want to put that in your letter so they know that you mean business, that you've already done your homework, and you know who you're going to have to send their information to if they don't stop. When we've done this for clients, and when we've had people that took this advice, right away they're going to send you a letter saying that they're going to cease and desist all collection activities, and that they're usually going to apologize for the inconvenience, because they don't want to lose their license or their certification to be able to collect debt in your state. And then you need to keep that letter, because they're going to eventually, either give it back to the debt collection company if they were just a third party collecting it for another debt collection company, or they're going to package that up with the uncollectible debt and they're going to sell it to someone else. And you want to have that letter ready to go when another debt collector tries to do the same thing over again. Now, so that's how you deal with debt when it comes to dealing with debt that is past statute of limitations. We're not talking about if they got a judgment against you. That's totally different. We're talking about you get a letter from a debt collector and they're saying that you owe a particular debt and it is not went into a judgment. Now, if you don't have your credit reports, there's a link below this video. Go to 3scores.com and grab your credit report so you can know, so you can have the information to be able to see if it's past statute of limitations. If you need help with your credit, go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com. Please like this video. I really appreciate it. We need it for the algorithm to be able to continue helping people. So please like this video. They think they call it a bell or something. Please like it. And then also, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that. We have very good information on here, and I have some great information lined up to come over the next week, really over the years, because this stuff with debt, there's so many questions that people ask about it, and all I do is just get those questions and give you answers to what you should do, different solutions that you could do to tackle debt collections. And then, yeah, please subscribe. Please share it with your friends and family. Please share it and post your comments and your questions below. I answer all of them. Unless I accidentally miss it, I answer all of them. All right. Thanks a lot for your time, and you have a great day.